All right, so as promised, I'm here at 7 o'clock to my friends on the East Coast and 1 o'clock here in Hawaii. But I want to talk to you today about this case. I was asked over the weekend if I would do at least a live feed or talk about this case in Louisville where our sister, Breonna Taylor, was killed while the police were executing a search warrant. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the difference between no-knock search warrants and knock and announce, okay? Because these no-knock search warrants get a lot of people killed. Um, and then y'all look up Fred Hampton, used to be with the Black Panthers, right? Back in how he was killed in Chicago when the police raided his home. And so let's back up. So those of you that are new to this thing with me, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see where we did classes on search warrants and stuff like that earlier on in this COVID-19 pandemic. I did some free law classes. We'll continue to do them. But I want to tell you about, the dangers of these now I know in Louisville what the police are saying is that they actually knocked and announced under the Fourth Amendment, right? That's it. The Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution. No, you need to have probable cause for a search warrant to issue. And the search has to be reasonable. Now, going back from history, if the police get a search warrant to search your house, or any state agent gets a search warrant to search your house, they have to knock and announce before they enter. I know you watch the movies where the police are out there, they're secretly talking, and they had this big old ramming thing, and they ram in the door, and they all of a sudden jump in. Those are what's called no-knock search warrants. And you have to get special requests from a judge to get one. If you don't get permission from a judge to do a no-knock search, then you have to knock and announce, even if you have the search warrant. Why? To prevent stuff like this. Why? Because not knocking and announcing when you enter a person's home, and keep in mind, under the Fourth Amendment, and again, I'm talking to some of my students that have been with me for the last couple of months and learning this stuff. When I say students, I'm talking about you, the public, not just my law students, but my law students better know this stuff too. When it comes to the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, the house gets the most protection. The house gets, if it's your car, you have constitutional rights with respect to the search of your automobile. You have constitutional rights with respect to search of yourself. But however, when it comes to the house gets the most protection. And so going back from the time that our country started, when the police enter into the residence, even with a search warrant, they have to knock and announce their presence, and then give, they just can't knock, bang, 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 police, and then bust in, right? It has to be reasonable. Now, you can get a no-knock search warrant. If you all been paying attention to the politics going over the last couple of years, Roger Stone, the guy who just got prosecuted and convicted, for the stuff that he did with respect to the campaign, there was a no-knock search warrant issued in his case. Paul Manafort, who just got out of jail because of the COVID-19. Well, that ain't why he got out, but anyway, without getting into politics, look, even him, right? The police got a no-knock search warrant. The FBI did. What do they do when they go to the judge to get a search warrant? They have to say, look, judge, here's why we believe that there's going to be evidence of a crime found in the place that we want to be searched. When they went to get Breonna, the search warrant for Breonna and her boyfriend's apartment, they had to tell the judge under oath, judge, here's the evidence because the judge wants to know, why should I give you a search warrant to go in somebody's house? Tell me why you think if you go in that house, you're going to find evidence of a crime. And tell me this under oath. And so the police officer has to swear under oath why he or she believes that if you let me have a warrant to go into Breonna Taylor's house, we're going to find evidence of crime or drugs. We're going to find drugs in that house, right? So what did the officer tell the judge this night? Well, let me back up real quick. So now, in order to get the no-knock search warrant, they did not have a no-knock search warrant, even though they didn't knock and announce, according to a lot of the neighbors who claim that they never heard the police knock on Breonna's door and say, we're the police, we have a search warrant, open up. The neighbor said that never happened. What they heard was the door break open and shooting. But nevertheless, I want to tell you about, because this essentially happened to be executed like a no-knock search warrant. But if you want to get a no-knock search warrant, you have to tell the judge under oath, Your Honor, if you I need a no-knock search warrant. I had to kick in the door because if not, if we announce that we're there, we believe that Paul Manafort is going to destroy evidence if we let him know. Roger Stone has already said, Your Honor, on social media that if we come to his house, he's going to destroy all the evidence. So we need you to give us a no-knock search warrant so we can kick in the door before they had time to destroy the evidence. Secondly, even if you don't think they're going to destroy evidence, Your Honor, these people in there are armed and dangerous. And the judge may say, tell me why you think they're armed and dangerous. Give me some reasons why you believe they're armed and dangerous to where I can give you a no-knock search warrant. Okay, and we got that out the way. So the officer has to tell the judge that. But the most important thing is, in this case, here's what's important in this case. The judge is asking the officer, so to speak, tell me why it is you believe that there's going to be evidence of drugs and drug criminality found in Breonna's house. Now, here's what they say. Now, this is March. Sometime in, I think it was March 12th when they issued this warrant. Let me just check real quick, because I want to give you March 12th is when the judge signed the warrant. But what the cop tells her, and the judge is to blame for this too, what the cop tells her is this. The cop says sometime on January 16th, right? Police claim Glover was using Taylor's, they're looking for this guy named Glover, not her boyfriend, not Taylor's boyfriend. Taylor's boyfriend and her were not suspects in these crimes. They're looking for a guy named Glover. The police are claiming this guy named Glover uses Taylor's residence to have packages that's delivered through UPS of dope delivered to her residence. So he doesn't, Glover's a drug dealer, but he's using Taylor's address to have Federal Express or UPS or whoever's delivering these packages of dope, right, to come to her house. Then he'll go over there and swing by and pick it up. And so back in January, on January 16th, this is what the cop in March is telling the judge, because the judge is asking, why is it that I should give you this warrant to go into these people's house at night? So he says, well, Judge, here's what happened. Glover was using Taylor's address as his home address. We believe he's a drug dealer. He doesn't live there. And he was seen picking up a package from her apartment on January 16th before driving to a known drug house. So he went to her house. He went to Taylor's house on January 16th. We saw him pick up a package there and then drive to a known drug house. That was it. But then, at least according to the Louisville postal inspector, the judge, this cop tells the judge, hey, look, Judge, he also, we talked to a postal inspector, and he's been, and Glover's been using her residence as his. Now, the postal inspector said later on, after they killed her, nobody ever talked to us. In fact, back in January, the postal inspector said they came and asked us, was Glover using Taylor's address? And we told them we had no evidence of that. And so if they told a judge that they talked to us, the postal inspectors, and they told a judge this, and they got a search warrant saying that we told the police that this Glover guy was using Taylor's address as his own, we never told the police that. So that's not true if that's what they told the judge. And that's what they told the judge in the search warrant. So there's two things going on here. You got a police telling the judge that way back, this is in March, on March 12th, way back in January 16th, we saw a guy pick up a package. We don't know what was in the package, but he picked it up at Taylor's house. He then took that package to a known drug house. So keep in mind, so what should be going through the judge's mind? The judge is at fault here too. What should be going through the judge's mind at this point is, okay, it's March 12th. You saw this in January. What makes you think, one, that there's going to be any dope found in Taylor's house? Why am I going to tell me why you think that if I give you a warrant to go break down their door, that you're going to find dope in their house? You ain't told me nothing. You told me something that happened 2 months ago. And even then you told me the package was taken from her house to a drug house. Tell me why it is, because this is what the judge should have been saying to this officer. I'm confused. Why is it that you need to go in her house? Here's what when you go get a search warrant, when an officer go gets a search warrant, they need what they call probable cause. Again, those of you that did not come to my classes over through the pandemic while we're still going through this, you need to go check out my YouTube channel. They need probable cause. Probable cause to believe what? Probable cause to believe that there's evidence of a crime that's been committed, i.e. drug dealing. 2, and probable cause to believe that if you give me this warrant, Judge, it's probably going to be in that house. Right? Probable cause to believe there's evidence of a crime. What's the crime? Drugs. Okay, now I need to give the judge under oath my objective reasons. Why do I believe that if you give me this warrant, I'm going to find dope in her house? And I'm like, hey, man, this guy say, hey, look, this guy named Glover been using our house as a place to pick up his dope. He claimed, he's been faking like it's his residence. Okay, but still tell me why you think, officer, if I give you this warrant, you're going to find dope. He never gave that. Plus, he lied. Now, here's the problem. So people are saying, well, the officer that shot and killed Breonna should be charged with a homicide. But pretend that you work for the police department. I know some of y'all, can't even fathom that, but let's pretend. And you're a good police officer, right? I mean, you do things by the book. Now, your boss comes in and says, look, I just got a search warrant from Judge so-and-so that we can go search just Breonna Taylor's house. Now, you don't know nothing about Breonna Taylor. You didn't go with, you don't know about anything that's in the search warrant. You don't know if there's lies or not. What you know is that the sergeant in charge is coming to you, the officer, saying, okay, we're going to search your house for drugs. I got a search warrant right here. The judge just issued it. You, and you, let's go. Everybody, let's go. Now, keep in mind, we're going to a high crime rate area, right? And so now that officer, the door opens up, and the young man and Breonna, they think they being robbed. That's what's happening. That's why these no-knock warrants. I'll read you off a list. Man, I forgot my list, but I'll read you off. Anyway, there's a list of people from like 2010 to 2016 that had been shot and killed or either injured, officers and innocent people, because of these no-knock warrants. But going back, so y'all kick in the door, and the boyfriend's in there. He's thinking the police is trying to break in, and he don't know it's the police. They trying to rob me, so he's shooting back. Now you, the officer, you just got told to come down there, so you start shooting, and you kill her. Now, here's the hard part about that. And y'all know I used to do civil rights litigation, and I teach it here at the law school. So here's the hard part about, so when the family comes to the lawyer and says, like, we got to sue him, right? And this officer should be charged. The one that killed Breonna should be charged with a crime. It's going to be hard to demonstrate that officer, unless he was involved in the line of getting that search warrant, wasn't acting in good faith. Now, the one who should be charged is the one who went to that judge at 12:30 in the morning, or somewhere around, like, early in the morning, right? And then didn't put in, one, and the judge should too. I can't understand. Look, well, I can understand why a judge would issue a warrant based on evidence that happened 2 months ago. Even let's say an officer, let's say you're a judge. Now, instead of being a police officer, I'm gonna make you a judge. And so I knock on your door. I'm Detective Cheese Nuts. I knock on your door, and I say, Judge, I need you to sign this warrant to go search this house over here for drugs. And the judge said, okay, Lawson, tell me why you want me to go to give you the warrant. And I say, 2 months ago, I went in as an undercover with an informant into this house, the same one I want you to let me search. And I saw the owner sell my informant dope. Yeah. He went back into the back, came out with a box, measured out some cocaine, and then, handed it to my informant. The purchase was made, and he put the lid back on the box with the rest of the dope in it. And we left in the box, right? So when was this? It was 2 months ago, Judge. Now tell me what would be going through your mind as a judge? what would be going through your mind is, what makes you think the dope is still there? It's been 2 months. That's what they call stale information, right? And so you got to tell me why you believe it's there now. You want to search right now. This is 2 months later, right? Remember, they last with the evidence against Glover, who they said was using her residence as a place to pick up his dope, with no evidence of that. But anyway, that's what they claim. They said that was 2 months. That was in January. Still, right? And so again, you got to look at what the, why would the judge do that? And a lot of these judges, they obviously trust police, right? And it's 12, and so they go knock on these judges' doors, man, at 12, and and most of these judges, they ain't out partying. It's 12:30 at night. What you want, man? Right? You done woke me up. What do you need, officer? Your Honor, we got probable cause to believe that this Breonna Taylor and so and so, they got dope in their apartment. Just sign right here. You swear that this is true, Your Honor? Yeah, Your Honor, it's true. Everything in here is true. All right, there's your warrant. Next thing you know, all hell done broke loose in Louisville. Right? But again, so there's a lot of things that's moving on this case. And like I said, a lot of times after these shootings, you get different stories. Now the police are saying, well, like I said, you got the postal inspector saying, we never told the police that this Glover guy was using this Taylor's address as his own. We never told him that. Why would they tell a judge that? Why would they lie to a judge under oath? So now, and again, why are they saying that they knocked and announced? When all the neighbors, you're talking about an apartment building, these neighbors, I mean, when you hear somebody banging on the door talking about police, trust me, you're going to get people's attention. I mean, go out there and start banging on your door and yelling police at 12:30 at night if you live in an apartment building. Somebody going to come and look out, or at least be peeking out. They may not open their door, right? And the neighbors say, no, we didn't. All we heard was the door get kicked and we heard some shooting. Now, with respect to the young man that shot, this is the dangerous part about these no-knock, because again, he had no prior record. He had a right to have his gun, and somebody kicking his door in, right? And not announcing who they are. And so you shoot out in self-defense. And if you go back in, and here's the sad part about it. Instead of everybody saying, you know what, we messed up, everybody being the police saying we messed up, what it does is that people start doubling down on their lines. And go back, and it ain't me just saying it now. Go back and look at all the reports and the statements made by the police, not me or anybody else, that have changed since this happened. First they said they didn't knock and announce. Then they said they had a no knock. I mean, everything. They said 2 or 3 different stories since this shooting. And if you're telling the truth, you don't, but again, we live in a time where if people was, we made a mistake. We made a mistake. We should have knocked and announced, whatever, but just tell the truth. But now what happens is they double down a lot. And in order for me to make it seem like I acted okay, I got to charge you with attempted murder. You being a young man who was in there with no record, door gets kicked in, and he's shooting thinking that they're trying to rob and kill him and his girl. You got an EMT sister that's dead, right? And now all of a sudden, so when you go back and look, when the judge let this young man, so they arrested that young man, charged him with attempted murder, even though they first said it was Breonna that was the one shooting. Go back and look at the police said that the person shooting at us, we shot back and killed him. Then they found out she ain't had no gun and it was him. Then it became him, right? Again, these stories demonstrate a lack of reliability. But getting back to the legal points that I'm trying to make. And so when the judge let this young man out on bond, because you have a right to defend yourself in your home. Again, we've covered those cases in my free law classes. You have a right to defend yourself in the home. So when they kick in the door and he believes somebody's coming to cause serious physical harm to him or death or to somebody in this house, he has a right to defend himself. And he did. But what they did was they charged him with attempted murder instead of anybody being charged with murder. And like I said, now the officer who got this search warrant that lied, because see, it's hard to tell right now. We don't have enough evidence, at least I don't have enough evidence to know that the officers who executed that warrant knew about the lies that was in the affidavit to get the search warrant. And so, you know, I'm gonna back up so you can learn this legally. When the police gets a search warrant, they have to give an affidavit. Go watch The Wire or watch some of these crime shows, and they'll or watch Bosch. Bosch is on Amazon now, right? And you'll hear them say, "Well, we need to get a warrant." They say, "Can you draw up the paperwork for that?" When they talking about the paperwork, they talking about the affidavit. Can you draw up the affidavit? What does that mean? It means, can you put in writing everything that we believe, all the evidence that we have to tell the judge why we believe that if she gives us this warrant, we're going to find evidence of dope in Breonna Taylor's house. Put it all in there, right? So they sitting down there, they typing it up. You see them on them little typewriters on the shows. They typing that stuff up. What are they typing up? Your Honor, on such and such date, we had an informant that went into this house. They bought dope. They came out and they showed us the dope. We had them wired. When they walked into the house, we could hear them talking to the other person. They were talking about dealing this, then that, right? And so we have all this evidence. And this just happened 2 days ago. We believe the evidence is still there because we've been watching the house. And if you give us this warrant, right? And so then they take that, they type it up, they go take it to the judge. The judge says, "Can you swear on an oath?" Your Honor, they swear, they sign it. The judge give them the warrant, right? And so what I'm saying is the officer who went to this judge's house at night and was lying about the evidence that allowed him to go and the other guys to go and search is in trouble. And if anybody should be charged with the murder of her death, or with it's him, because he put it in motion. Now, like I said, the other officers may not know it. See, when you a lying cop, you ain't gonna tell the other officers, not all of them anyway, that we lying to get this search warrant from the judge. So those other officers that broke into the house that night and went down through there, they thought maybe they're executing the warrant. The people inside thinking they getting robbed. Why? Because you didn't knock and announce. And again, the knock and announce goes back to the time that our country started. I mean, it goes back prior to that. It has its roots in England. That if you're gonna go search a person's house because of the privacy of the home, because of the respect we give a home, right? You have to knock and announce. And to do anything less is an unreasonable search and seizure. And if it's an unreasonable search and seizure, it's a what? It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment, right? You have certain constitutional rights under the Fourth Amendment, right? Against unreasonable searches and seizure. What's an unreasonable search and seizure? When you execute a warrant and you don't knock and announce. Why is that unreasonable? Because you just ain't gonna be busting into people's houses, right? Knock and announce. Give them a second to get themselves together, whatever. Now, again, going back to those that just joined, you don't have to knock and announce if you believe the person's inside is destroying evidence, right? So let's say you walk in, let's say the judge says, "I'm not going to give you a knock and announce. I'm not going to give you a no knock warrant. When you get that Lawson, you got to knock and announce like everybody else." So you say, "Okay, judge," and so you start walking up to the residence, and the people inside see the police coming. And you hear them say, "Cops, cops, cops, cops," right? And then all shit start getting thrown out the window. You ain't got to knock and announce then. Because why? They in there trying to destroy evidence. They call that, well, that's what they call exigent circumstances, right? But if ain't none of that happening, you got to knock and announce, right? The only time that you can not knock and announce is when the judge tells you in the warrant, because you have to ask her, "Judge, okay, I know I need a search warrant, but I need you to make it a no knock." "Well, why, Lawson? Tell me why it is that I should let you just bust in their door." "Well, we got evidence that they're going to destroy the evidence." "What is that evidence? Who told you that? Where you getting that from? Don't just tell me what you think or what you believe. Tell me why it is. Give me some objective reasons why." And so that's what's going on with that. All right. So again, this is you guys learned a lot of law in a short period of time. But you go back and you look at Fred Hampton. I wish I mean I had that up. Oh, man, my desk is a mess here because I'm trying to work on a whole bunch of different things. But if you go back and look at Fred Hampton and you go back in Atlanta, go back in Atlanta in 2006. Remember the old lady that was in her house and the police, they lied on that warrant. They said they had an informant that had bought dope from her house. This is in 2006. They killed this elderly lady. They knocked in, they knocked, no knock, they kicked in the door and she had a gun. Grandma had a gun and they killed her. And then they found out later that the officer who got the search warrant to go into Grandma's house had put in there that he had an informant that purchased dope from that house, and he was lying. He was lying. Right? So that officer got charged with murder. Look at the Atlanta Constitution sometime in 2006, 2007. And so when you use these no-knock search warrants, or when you have a search warrant and you don't knock and announce and you kick in doors, tragedies like this happen. Right? So now you got a young sister that's dead, a young man who has no record whatsoever that's charged with attempted murder, right? All because they thought they was being robbed, all because somebody didn't knock and announce. And secondly, on a search warrant that never should have been issued. Right. And so all that stuff is going to come out in the mix. But again, when you had these police shootings and it involves people like us, and you see it in the Brother Arbery case, right? Now they got stuff coming out talking about now they got videos from that construction site with 1,000 people going back and forth on that. The only one, right? And so then they just came out with another video where this Brother Arbery was stopped in 2017 by the police because he looked suspicious. Wasn't arrested for nothing, right? And the police out there, so one officer's talking to him, and another officer rolls up later and pulls out his taser. Now they show you that to continue to demonize him. And they have to admit he ain't done nothing illegal. But I told y'all, go back and watch the Trayvon Martin case. When George Zimmerman first killed Trayvon Martin, initially when it happened, everybody said, yeah, George should be charged with murder. And then you had a lot of these, you had the FOP, the fraternal orders, the police union out pushing back. You had the conservative media pushing back. You had all these leak, trying to make the young man seem like he was a grown WWF fighter, something like, right? Wrestler. And as time went on, it was okay. Now he's a demon and he's aggressive, and he should have just done. And in other words, he caused his own death. And they're doing the same thing with this young brother down there, and they're gonna do the same thing in Louisville. You watch the pictures that they show. Right, there could be a whole bunch of pictures that they can get from Brother Arbery's family. They can get a whole bunch of pictures from Sister Taylor, the EMT, her family, and her boyfriend. But eventually they're going to start showing the pictures that make them look less than human. They're going to start running stories that make them make you think that they're less than human. They're going to start running stories over a period of time that's going to make the jurors think by the time it comes to trial, hey, they caused their own death. Now, y'all think I'm lying. Like I said, go back and retrace Trayvon Martin's case. Go back and look at it. Look at Rodney King. Y'all too young to remember that. When that video of Rodney King came out, everybody in the nation, white, black, and it was like, yeah, nobody deserved to be beat, no matter what he was doing, didn't deserve to be beat like that. And the more it came to trial, why didn't he just listen? Hey, man, it's the same game, different name. So I hope this kind of educates you guys about the search warrant process, but keep in mind, in case again, a lot's going to depend on if the officers are kicked in the door. One, if they knocked and announced, which I don't believe they did, right? But the one who put them on this goose chase, the one who lied to a judge in his affidavit to get the search warrant, right? That's the one. And the judge, the judge is immune. And here's why it's hard to sue the police, because they have what's called immunity, qualified immunity. I know I'm going off, but I need to tell y'all this. This is all free. I'm not. I had a professor in college, and back then, Thursday night on NBC was this back Cosby, and then Living Single. I think that's what the name of it, or different, whatever it was. But it was all them shows came on, and Cheers, all that came on Thursday night. And so our class was supposed to end at 8 o'clock. And I had a professor, man, he would just keep on talking. And then he would tell us, when we sitting there looking at our watch ready to go, I ain't going to charge y'all extra tuition for this. So I'm telling y'all what he told me. This is free for y'all. So I'm going to hold y'all a little bit longer. But I want to tell you, when you look at the reason why your vote is important, and, I see a lot of people talking about, I don't want to vote for Joe Biden, this and all this other stuff. The reason why your vote is important is because of them Supreme Court seats. And you talk about civil rights laws, and you got now with the Supreme Court, the way it's sitting. Now let me. There's a case that came out in 2018 in Arizona, where this lady was out in her yard with a knife. And she was arguing with her roommate. And so if somebody calls in and says, there's a lady out, this is in Arizona, somebody calls in and says, there's a lady out threatening people with knives. And when the police get there, the lady's not threatening anybody. She's standing there talking to another lady 6 feet apart with a knife out. When this officer gets there, there are already 2 other or 3 other officers already there, and none of the officers are doing anything. They're just watching. This officer gets there, runs up, and immediately shoots the lady with the knife. She's standing there, just holding next to her, and the other lady's 6 feet apart. He sees her do nothing, right? And so he shoots her. Luckily, she didn't die. So she sues and says, this is a violation of my civil rights. There's nothing illegal about me being outside holding a knife. You can look. My mama, when she would come out and chase us, if she was in the kitchen, man, whatever was in her hand was coming out with her. It'd be a spatula, a knife. It just, right? Can you imagine walking outside your house with a knife and somebody saying, shoot you without no other evidence? And what the Supreme Court ruled was that officer was immune from suit through qualified immunity. And again, that would not have happened. In 2000, that wouldn't have happened with a more balanced judiciary. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, you may think, okay, I'm just voting for a president, and I don't like Joe. But if you want to talk, if these things right here upset you, you're gonna be even more upset when you can't win a civil rights lawsuit because of qualified immunity. See, the hurdle that so the lawyers sued Louisville, right? Breonna Taylor found they hire attorneys. They said, go get them, right? But if the law is saying that the officers that entered there didn't know about the lies in the search warrant, right? They could get off on qualified immunity. And like I said, I can't remember the name, but it's in 2018. It happened in Arizona when I went to the United States Supreme Court. Now, if you stand, let me ask you, if you stand outside, let's say a neighbor sees you outside and they think that somehow, they're one of them Karens, right? Y'all been seeing all this Karen stuff on the, so Karen called the police on you, say, hey, she outside with a butcher knife, please get there. And all you're doing, you barbecuing, whatever. And you get shot. That's what happened, right? Because the officer admitted, I didn't see her threatening anybody. The knife was at her side. She never got a chance to drop the knife. I mean, he just shot this lady. And Supreme Court said, hey, you can't sue him. He's qualified immunity. Y'all see, remember that Lethal Weapon movie when the guy kept saying diplomatic immunity? And Danny Glover just shot him. But it's a different type of immunity. But qualified immunity says, look, for our police officers, for our firefighters, and other public servants, they can be sued in certain situations. But for the most part, it's hard to sue them. They have immunity. Why? because we don't want them second guessing themselves because they're fearful of being sued. You call somebody and say, look, my house on fire. You don't want your fire department coming down there and being scared to put the fire out because they're afraid you're going to sue them if they mess up your furniture. And so they're given immunity so that they can do their job freely without threat of being sued. And so that's why, you know, there's qualified immunity, but it doesn't mean straight up immunity. And that's another topic for another law show. So I enjoy bringing you that free legal advice. I know I kept you guys over time, but there's going to be a whole lot of facts coming out. But like I said, keep your eye on the ball, man. The more, right now, everybody's saying this was wrong. This shouldn't have happened. And start watching how especially on the conservative media, how the tone starts changing. How Brother Arbery now becomes this big criminal. Like I said, when they got videotape, man, everybody walking on that guy's property looking at the construction. Right? It's an attractive nuisance. But the only one they keep releasing this drip, 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 drip video stuff of this brother down there at Auburn. Then they come out with this, and that tasing, the video where the officers threatening the tasing from 2017, go back and look. Some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about, but just Google it, and you'll see that is a type of stop that we talking about. Well, he ain't bothering nobody, right? He wasn't doing nothing illegal. Cop says he looks suspicious. Cop says, hey, I want to search your car. He says, no, I know my rights. You ain't searching my car. Then another cop pulls up and pulls out the taser. For what? Because I won't let you violate my rights. And like I said, man, you got these people out here, they want to engage in protests because the nail salons and all that stuff ain't open up. And they down with their rights when it's their rights. But I don't see too many of them coming to defend the rights of these people that's being shot at all. So yeah, like I said, it is what it is. So hey, I enjoy bringing this to you all. Hey, if you got anything else y'all want me to talk about that's in local news, and don't, like I said, I deal in criminal law. Don't bring me no contract questions, taxi questions, and all that other bullshit, because I don't know nothing about it. All right, but if you got something happening in the public that you think you want me to comment on, shoot, post it on my Facebook page. All right, see you guys later.